All right, what we're going to do is this might be a lengthy video because things that I'm going to discuss maybe have been talked about, but only a few individuals really talked about it in certain literature. And truthfully, this is something that we knew as a species of humans or physical form. You know, at one point in time, under that same sun and moon, the same way that everybody comes at you and tells you how real AI is, this same way we were telling you this is real too. Same way. So what was once here is gone. And truthfully, what they do is, like, I'll tell you what they do real quick. I'm good at plagiarism. Plague. That's what it is. See, this book right here is the Grand Grimoire, or the Red Dragon. Okay? Let me see if I can find it in here. Hang on. I want you to hear his, Eliphas Levi, his words on it. Where's it at? Is it under Black Magic? Hang on. There it is. So in Transcendental Magic, right here he says, the end of procedure in black magic was to disturb reason and produce the feverish excitement which emboldens it to great crimes. The grimoires, once seized and burnt by authority everywhere, are certainly, let's say, murder, theft are indicated or hinted as means to realization in almost all these words. Thus, in the Grand Grimoire and its modern version, the Red Dragon, there's a recipe entitled The Composition of Death or the Philosophical Stone. And it goes into ingredients you got to use for shit. But here's the deal, okay? So what I'm holding is a book that they burnt. So it's what he said, burnt by authorities. So what they did was just like anything. This Saturnian spirit that your brain can understand, it just got rid of it all, but held on to what they have, and then their own offspring and individuals they collaborate together without them knowing it or not, and then restructure it and then put it out. And what was in there is not in there. But truthfully, it's funny because the Red Dragon beginning of it, it's about the beginning of it. Some old man, like a spook in the wizardry, he's tricking some boy into, falling into this ritual. And truthfully, he just guides him into it, just through his own stupidity. Yeah, but then it gets deeper and deeper. But anyways, I'm just throwing that in there because that book right there is big boy. Because it talks about going into the town. And when we're talking about magic, we're talking about left and right magic, and there's gray magic. But your right hand magic is good, left hand path is bad. And in there he tells the boy to go to town and get a donkey, and then to walk it home with the left hand only. The left hand only. The saying is you're not in your right mind, it's because you're in your left mind. So, but anyways, I was just wanting to say something about that, because there's not a whole lot about black magic. I mean, they talk about it, but like I said, everything's been crushed, rewritten, gave to them, thrown away, burnt, redone, restructured, thrown away, given to them over and over and over. So what we have is there's nothing real out there. But what it does is it does create, it's all black magic, the world we're in. The whole thing is AI. It's the whole thing from top to bottom. And see, once the individual can understand that they were thrown into this world and it under already going. But see, when we're looking at the zodiac, Okay, if you spread out your 12-inch ruler, you'll have 12 inches. If you spread this out, the ruler comes from this. Up here, you got little increments, as I showed. In school, some of y'all had the locker combination. You turned it this way and that way. The same thing this does. And certain lights, currents, impulses comes from this. This is what charges everything out there. This is what charges the cells in you and everything. This is where spirit is, and nobody believes in it. So in the elemental being world, that's why you go to elementary school. They're getting these little beings ready for the elemental world on the other side. It's real. It's in Scripture. We're going to be neutral, though. You go through 12 grades. So instead of learning the 12 constellations, you learn materialism, which is matter. The upside-down pentagram represents materialism, the 1 point down. Okay? When the 2 points are down, that represents you. Okay, and everybody's the point down. They have none. There's no balance with them. So real quick, I just want to give you, nobody can understand this except for the ones that control us. I already know that my astral body and my ether body, my soul and my spirit that I was born with is not doing this right now. Okay, when it comes to my numbers, count. In Latin, number is count. When it comes to my counts, because you go to court and you got counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you open an account with Saturn, which is the black robe and all that. But see, I understand evolution, true evolution. I'm going to give the goy words that they can understand, and how we're in the earth period, the sphere, and how you are literally throwing all these dummies into the Vulcan whatever moon sphere of twilight. That's how you have your series. You get them ready. They'll be trapped forever. Coming in here into this world and never having anything whatsoever that has to do with this or out there in nature that represents spirit. Their spirit is this worldly Ahrimanic demon that comes from Saturn. We all do. In the beginning, Saturn was there. Darkness and waste and desolation went over the waters. That's in Genesis in the beginning. They don't go in detail about it, but that's what's happened. That's when the beginning of everything started to develop. The heart took a long time from the stage of like Saturn to the sun. This is Saturn. Without the light of Saturn, this would not be there at all. This. And you know why Saturn in your world is the furthest out? Okay, well, what's the last to decay? The bones. Exactly. So the light of Saturn controls the roots in the ground too. Why is that? Because the roots are the furthest down from up there. Do you see the middle finger represents Saturn? That's why they get you to do this to everybody. Yeah, that's because of Saturn. This right here is a product of Saturn. And what I'm trying to tell you is I know it sounds crazy, but I can grab certain deceased life forms and I can see their life. I'm not lying either. Okay? Because what we're going to do is in a second we're going to get into this cavity of the brain, not only with a deer, but the human cavity and the cerebral fluid that's in there that is actually astral fluid. It's the same. When the water's separated, those waters above is what controls the waters in here. And what's in here, your brain represents what you're inside of. The embryo, the same thing. This represents an embryo within itself. You understand? This is this is a world that's never been explored. Dura Mater, Dora the Explorer. Okay? We're going to get into that in just a second. But with the zodiac and these increments right here. Alright? My sobriety date is December the 17th, which is 12/17, the 199th prime, which is the 46th prime. 2 and 23 is the only divisors. 2 and 2, 2, 3. Long story short. Okay? My birth date is 12/7, 127. 12 and 7 has to do with this. Okay? And 12/17 has to do with the beginning of Saturnalia. The day that I sobered up was 38 years and 11 days. 38 times 11 is 418, and 418 is fucking big boy. 11 and 38 it is as well. So it could be 10 days or 11 days. 38 years, 10 or 11. And then you have 381, 183. Let me tell you something. When it comes to the spheres, it has to do with Saturn 1, okay, Moon 3rd, and then the moon sphere of Vulcan, whatever they want to call it, 8th. So 138, 183, same thing. And so what happens is, the same way that magnetic field, the spirit, produces this life every year and penetrates into the ground and comes out. Well, we can travel. Those of y'all paying attention to the people around you that hate you and say you're crazy, when they go to the other side, if you see this world for what it is, you will be streaming. Yes, streaming. It's funny how you have that in TV land, because it's streaming into the optic nerve, the retina and all that, and programming that cerebral fluid with the chemicals that the ghost, G for G in the masonry symbol, compass, because it's actually the Saturn symbol. So that individual has drank chemicals their entire life, and so their cerebral fluid is that, and their brain's floating around in that shit, and they have nothing that has to do with this. Nothing that has to do with this. They'll actually tell you that this is Satan. This is Satan. You don't need to listen to him. He didn't go to the schools that we went to because we're Ahriman. Siri means wax. You know why? Because you got wax in your brain. Okay? So what happened with me was, I said this years ago, but I really didn't understand what I was saying. Because I don't think that the entity, it does now, you know, but when it comes to like, white magic's going to have to do with nature, black magic's going to have to do with fucking lie, deception, chaos, blood, and all this shit that you have in your fake world that y'all tell me is real. So, because it's like AI, all that stuff was summoned from the other side. It's spirit. It was summoned. That information was given to a physical being and then relayed that message into written form, into a press, into a printing press, eventually machine. The machine was made out of natural elements. And now these dumb goy have no idea that they have surrounded themselves with not only the enemy, but they've absorbed it. Every AI, every fake plastic, everything invented has came from nature. Natural substances converted into toxic, poisonous substances and given to you motherfuckers that are stupid as shit. And then go, hey, this is where we go to church over here. Yeah, it's not real. They all know this. So, each year, especially on the beginning of Saturnalia, those numbers are huge. Not only that, it's the birthday that I've had, but it was the 38 and 11. 11 represents the big number to them, which has to do with 9 and 11. Okay, 9 represents chaos, and then 11 does too, and we're getting into real big black magic. That's why you have the emergency call number. It's not for us. That's the goys. That's the black magic everywhere. That number is controlling you. You have no idea. And every time somebody says, call 911, see the names we've even been given. Certain names. My name, Mott. Okay, M is a very big letter. So when you pronounce that, there's frequency that you don't know that's in the air that resonates with the soul and the cerebral fluid. So my whole life I've been, referred to as a name with deep meaning when it comes to the voice and pronunciation. So when the eardrum hears it, it penetrates the brain. So it has more of a spiritual, physical meaning behind it other than, hey, Matt. See, they don't teach you that in school. So when you're given goy names and you've been talking to each other in this language they've given us, you don't know Hebrew, because if you learn how to, speak in like a Hebrew or Latin, you're going to be really connected. Really, really, really. But the further they get you away and the more they get you speaking like us, like this, hey, man, I'm going to cut the boy down here. It's for one, this cerebral fluid hadn't been there. Two, there's nothing that's ever been around to influence the individual to better themselves as far as when it comes to speech, because the air is what turns the boys' voices up and down. The air does during puberty. But that's neither here nor there. But it's just like any kind of black magic ritual. We're going into Aquarius. We're in Aquarius now. Nobody knows anything about that. And Aquarius has ruled the first 1,000 years of Saturn. That's why you've had this 1,000 points of light back in black. The return of Saturn, no doubt. BLM. Everything that you see that has to do with the color black has to do with Saturn. Every fucking bit of it. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a cube. That's the thing is our brain is within a cube. It's in cube consciousness. A cube can only see, what is it, 3 sides or 2? So, our brain should be able to see there's 8. But we don't have that. It's the faculties. It's just like ABC. It should go to D. See, if it doesn't go to D, we're not learning the Hebrew alphabet. So ABC represents black magic. Yeah, that's why ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. That's it. And you'll go, well, we finished. Yeah, well, evil's number is 9. That's their number 1. So 9, 8, 7 would be 1, 2, 3. You get it? 9, 11. And then 1 and 1 is 2. So 9 is their number 1, and then 11 is their number 2. 9, 11. It's right there in the gap of the first number of God, 10. 1 and 0 is back to 1. 1 being the 1. See, I can't speak too much on some things because you just don't have it in you. And it's like the people around me, if they're not watching this, but I just want to share this. The alcoholic Matt was, he would done been dead by now. I mean, he has literally been not only ignored, shunned, ridiculed, just these people around him literally destroy him by their actions. And he's the one begging them to learn who they are, learn everything, quit being a dummy, quit falling into everything. And they all just laugh at him. Just ignore him. I mean, just fucking ignore him. You know why? It's like he doesn't have any money, and the people around him will say, yeah, but look at his health. And they'll be like, hey, Jay, and they're so ignorant that it's the truth. This Ahrimanic being is so materialized with Satan. They've absorbed so much materialism that they think they're following a Jesus, but would Jesus look at somebody and say, well, they don't have no money, let's go. No, and they follow Jesus. It's disgusting. And see, physical Matt's fixing to come out because he gets upset. He cannot control, his worldly emotions been programmed from life. And the way that I'm speaking now is no different than somebody getting up from something on TV going, get him. But they can say, Matt's crazy. He's speaking like that. You speak into a fucking device. A vice. What does God say about vices? But anyways, in the event of them doing, you have no idea, every hour, every minute, every second, every day of this calendar we're under is under black magic sorcery. Every one of them there's a different spirit, a different demon, literally, that comes through the channels every night to keep them hosts sitting there on the ouch. It's a couch, ouch, that destroys the anatomy. And then they eat themselves into their condition of dis-ease, which their body's not at ease, so they're the fucking Ahrimanic dumb demons. And they truly are. So, but see, this couldn't have happened with me if it wasn't for prior events that happened in my physical life, as far as being, locked up, whether it's in a fucking rehab, the county, wherever. Jail, emergency rooms. When we're looking at spirit and we're looking at Saturn, I'm going to speak to where you don't understand what I'm talking about. But see, I can't get into that. Each time that these stages evolved in Genesis that you're denying, Saturn, Sun, Moon, Earth. Each time me and you were listening, talking, thinking about, we evolved. We never got left behind. Well, certain spirits got left behind, like Lucifer. See, before you come into this world, you already have Luciferic nature. That's the whole thing. You already have materialism ingrained into you. And see, the Ahrimanic nature is once you're thrown into this world, you're given all these images and everything, which represents the materialism, and then you absorb that and grow into it, and that demon of Ahriman consumes any chemicals, toxins, and everything. And then it destroys there's no soul or spirit in there at all, none whatsoever. None. So, it's almost 99.99% impossible it's literally 110% impossible to come through literally what the fuck they done. And see, they've got to step back with what's going on with me, because they know that I know that something bigger than me sat back, observed, and then did what it had to do. Listen, a spirit, if you know a hardcore alcoholic, I'm going to explain what elemental being is. And especially on the other side, once you get to where you will be, if you're so consumed with the material world. All these obsessions that you're consumed with is black magic. So an alcoholic, which is the alcohol spirit of death, what it does is since I had it, it's still in me, but I keep that demon at bay. It's no different than the keys of Solomon. So what they do is, how can I explain that? The easiest way that I can explain it is whether you like it or not, you get to still see this world. And if you die a hardcore alcoholic, and I'm going to just talk about me. I mean, it was so bad in me, it was the obsession to literally always have it and to do anything without it. And if you don't work on that kind of shit before you go over that fucking demon right there, what that does is get you ready to where when you see, and they tell you, like in Lord of the Rings, Saturn, Lord of the Rings, when he puts on the ring, it's all distorted. And they can't fucking see him or whatever. Or however it is. Well, they give you a glimpse somewhat of what's going on over there. So what you see now will not see that. But in a sense, when you go being that hardcore of an alcoholic right there, eventually I will be floating in the elemental sphere, doomed, seeing a whiskey bottle. And even though it's shut, I'm just floating around it. But when it's opened in this, however this looks in the real world, there's going to be a cavity. I'm going to be trying to get in that bottle and to get the same fucking feeling that it gave me to eventually do that to me. But I'll never get the feeling. I'll see it go into the cavity, and I'll try to inherit that cavity and get the feeling of that host, and I will not fucking get it. And then through frustration, I'm going to go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Forever. Until God sees fit. And then on top of that, everything you've ever inputted into the cerebral fluid, which from birth, that's what we're saying. They're harvesting souls. So let's get into that. But anyways, the whole term in football, which is the Vesca Pisces, which represents birth, the whole term interception is what we did. What's going on with me was intercepted, only on the unseen. It was intercepted. And they knew too. They knew something was not right because some things went good for them, but something big didn't. It didn't go. And so what they had to do is they had to sit back. And then they just had to wait and say, all right, let's see what happens. So after the first year, all right, is when I sent in a fucking package this thick to Muscle and Fitness, bodybuilding.com. And that's when those companies called me and said, is this a joke? And it's like, no, that's what I don't even know what did it. Something made me write everything down and take pictures and then send it in. And they said, this is fucking weird because it's something that these companies would do. It's something that corporations would do. People with mad money that I've shown that to, they're like, holy shit, I've never even fucking done that. And I still have it. They tried to buy them and I ain't selling it, and we know why now. So all that shit was already in me through all the experiences that I had already went through. I couldn't have done it, and then a man had to get with me and show me how to put all those experiences together. What's in me, I already had it all. It already foreseen everything that was going to happen. And so when those companies, which is the brands, I already know who they are, when it got to the top, they said, there it is. Now we just got to fucking sit back and wait. And see, after the third year is when we sent in that package with these people that helped to the White House and everywhere. And so we're going to give these coins to Trump and General Kelly and all kinds of shit just to lift the whole nation up. Well, we didn't even get nothing. We didn't even get, man, that's pretty good. Nothing. See, that's when red flags went up with us. That's what put others in the direction of them getting out of the matrix that they're in. They said they didn't even say good job, but sorry. They didn't say nothing. We sent those fucking packages to all of the major outlets after it had just blown up overnight. We sent, and it just squashed. Just squashed. Because they knew. They fucking knew right then and there. And seeing a black man and a white cop helped them, did this in the beginning before George Floyd and all that bullshit. I told y'all, echoes are from the other side. What we're going through now already happened on the other side. So an echo happened in order to try to wake people up going into this shit. And then right when it happened, it's like, no, look. And then, oh, you're crazy. So this entity has had to sit back. This unseen entity has had to sit back and observe. They can't do nothing because it's their own fucking numbers. It's the same source that they have literally destroyed everything with, is in me, is channeling through this physical being right now. Okay? Because some things take people their lifetimes to literally see, to understand. And look, I'm not lying. Like what's inside of you it's if you're really, really fucking awake, you'll be able to see things and it just reignites what you once already knew. It's already in there. It's common sense too. So they've had to sit back this whole time. I mean, look, it ain't that I've lost my family and lost everything. It's they've lost. For one, they don't have it in them, which we're going to go over. They don't. They're created. They're the AI, Arimon, that I keep talking about. And it's like, stop fucking living that life and give it to nature. And they'll just, no, you're crazy. God Almighty, he's fucking crazy. TV, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a demon. Doesn't matter how nice. Now they're AI. See it. Black Magic wrote out shit and they've done, yeah. From the very beginning, there's magazines, pictures, Black Magic, Time magazine, which represents Saturn. Time, Timmy, represents Saturn. Okay, so what we're dealing with has to do with beyond the physical plane of black and white magic. Let me say that. So that's just to give them a heads up on what they already fucking know. So what's going on with me has nothing to do with what you see physically with your own eyes. It has to do with the other scene. And truthfully, it has to do with some ancient shit that I literally would love to do a video on, and I should, since these fucking goy, man. I mean, they are literally so ingrained with so much. I mean, it's just, we grew up without these. And life was so much fucking better. But it was planned. That's like now, the more the populace, the more billboards, the more these, the more distractions. You got 50 games on here when you buy it now. It's not hard to see them programming little Arimonic demons. And now the parent, here you go, dummy baby, I can't even read or touch anything. This charges the cerebral fluid. This does, combined with the fluids. And then that's what creates the connection to this. And then whatever's in there, that's who they are. This is black magic. It's what it is. But with that little bit being said of every person has inherited this Arimonic demon. So I've inherited beyond that. Because we're going to look at the spheres like Lucifer. It's real. People can laugh. Luciferic. See, Lucifer set the stage for these little Arimonic demons. That's why you got Armani. Arimonic. So you have manic depressant, arimonic. It's Arimons in the brain. There's no fluid. It's all chemicals and poisons, numbers on pills, black magic. It's all it is. And when you point it out to people, they're not fucking human. Watch them. You're crazy. I mean, look. Here's a strong wire. Okay? This is a deer brain. There you go. Boom. See these antlers? Antennas? Ants? That right there is channeling the air, the ether into there. That's why these that have antlers are more nervous. It's because they got more of the fucking field coming in there. And do you see this eye socket right there? See, these deer, when they're outside, humans are all inside. So this deer, the eye is connected to all that out there, those lights. So those lights out there, the sunrise, sunset, the full moons, all that nobody knows about is charging this physical being right here. Which spirit developed this. You're designed by the same designers that designed the animals. And now we eat them. You have a cavity right here that was surrounded by cerebral fluid. You have a cavity right here. Look. That's split in half. So right there's the brain cavity, right there. And that's where the spinal cord comes out. And see, we're the only species that stand upright. So our cord is straight up and down, but yet you got rubber on you. So it blocks the magnetic field running through you that literally created these antlers. So what you don't know is that through your righteous, selfish living to everybody, to these goy, you block in all connection. All we have to do is study animal life forms. But you don't have that. Hey, go on, dummy. So inside of here is going to be brain, cerebral fluid, pia matter. And so when this human being is alive, there's going to be this fluid. And this brain's going to weigh about 3.5 pounds. But inside this fluid, it's going to weigh about 20 grams. So if I live like shit and have dull thinking and lazy tendencies, it's going to make my brain heavier. So it's going to, in that fluid, it's going to slowly block certain blood vessels to my brain. And what it's going to do is cause me to lose certain consciousness. But not enough to where you can notice it. But enough to where it interferes with your fucking thinking. To where you can't think. And to where you just go. Because the fluid in you, surrounded, your brain, comes from shit substances. Let me explain the fluid in your brain. I strongly suggest you get spring water. I don't care if you buy it. Go get it. Okay? Now, if we have a prism right here, however you want to look at it, and here's the sun right here. All right, and there's water in here. It's got to be water. Because what we have is water and light as you know it, which is 1 and 1. It's 2 different things. So what we're going to do is have this room right here, and there's going to be a hole in the wall. So this sunlight is going to come through here and come out and produce these colors. Okay? It's going to produce colors, especially on the edges. Okay? And what produced that? A combination of these. Without one, there's not the other. Water. Water's the whole thing. Okay? So, if we look at the eye, all right, let's see if I can draw a head. There's a head. There's an eyeball. All right, so the sunlight's going in there. You've got the retina, I don't know how you spell it, optic nerve. Okay, the same rule is going to apply with the sunlight going into your eye. It's going to go through 3 layers, but then it's going to hit the back, and then it's going to, of the eye socket, and then it's going to register in the retina, the optic nerve. It's going to register what it sees. But the sun's gone. What they've done is they've replaced it with this, the TV. So instead of knowing, because see, without these together, you don't have the color. You understand? You don't know what we're talking about. If I fill this prism up with a soda, guess what it's going to do to the colors? That. So if we fill the brain up with different colors from TV, then what is it going to do? It's going to create this fluid around the fake colors. So when you go from what you watch, you'll go to stores. There's the fake brand colors. See, you're the product. You're the product. And see, the whole thing is when we drink and eat horribly, then it's even more. We absorb this energy even more. When truthfully, this is where the water does it. So if the water produces all this, then that means we need more here. And we need more looking here. And less here. But then you tie in the pills and all that shit, it's already, that's the cerebral fluid. It's not real. You know, the same thing like with the astral fluid. Some people, they're like, what? And it's like, look, astrology. You've been taught it's all bad, and it's like, no, it's not. What's bad is not knowing it. What's knowing is the Dura matter, and all of them now that's the black magic. It's Dora the explorer into here, and filling up that brain, that little harmonic being with all these fake. That brain is designed with all these fake colors, going, oh, I love Dora. No, not even knowing it has to do with the brain, the cerebral fluid. Blue's Clues, blue is Saturn. It has to do with Saturn. Saturn. Thomas the Train has to do with the sun and Saturn. Everything has to do with the sun and Saturn, Saturday and Sunday. That's why Jesus and James are brothers. It's because of Saturday and Sunday. It has everything to do with it. And people just, they don't want to try to understand anything. Because see, you're a battery. Your 12 cranial nerves are connected to the 12 constellations, the 12 systems of the anatomy, and the 12 cell salts. It's all one. The same way that you should, you know every song like we do. I do. Every cartoon and snack and soda and everything, you should know all that. But it's like meta. What is meta backwards? Atom. You see this AI, they're bringing in these. I mean, look, if you just, those of y'all that are still on board on this video, it's hard for you to think. But you need to think about like what they've done. There used to be old people going, "I it's all garbage," and if you could only see how like they pushed it on you. It was reset. A lot of people know that, but it was reset to do what they're doing right now. And see, it's just like with the truth. They did some heavy black magic shit in the early 1800s, and then here comes some people with knowledge, spirit. So they had to fucking sit back. There's always a residual side effect when it comes to anything, even fucking things that you make, anything in nature too. So the same rule applies to the unseen that most of y'all don't believe in, but you'll find out. You'll go when you'll know when you go. And they have to sit back and they have to just let it play out, and then they observe though. So, you know, it's a win-win for them and me, and not y'all. So, and then I have to struggle because that's my karma. So, and that's another thing too, is I said they ain't playing fair a long fucking time ago. And see, when you don't play fair, then residual side effects occur. We all know where it's going. But there's something bigger. There's something bigger that will come to me. And it's another thing too. It's like when you get into a lot of this and the ancient Egyptian stuff, that's why they cut the world off, because they got to a point to where they were so on the edge of what's up there. Nobody believes in, and they were. And seeing people, they try to bring you down. It's this worldly spirit. And it's like, listen, I can't do certain things around y'all, talking about like around here, because you interfere with my true connection. And they'll just look at you like you're stupid. And they go right back to this shit. And it's like, listen, the same way you're connected to this as I'm connected to that. Don't be hating. So when you come at me, you interfere. And what you'll do is you'll see those actions on the other side of what the fuck you were interfering with. You know, everything that we do, and not only the elemental sphere of trying to get that feeling, it's everything we upload into the brain. Everything we upload into the brain. Everything that comes in there from TV comes out when we die. Yeah, so if you come through this life and that's only your worth, everything in here that you uploaded your entire life just goes, comes out. So if you uploaded all kinds of garbage, it's going to be garbage demons coming out forever, just attacking you. Yeah, that's what God really does when you turn your back on God. And it's real, because these forces in you are not meant for this. It's meant for that and that out there. Let me tell you something. It's realer than what you can think. The embryo in the brain is the same. And you inside of what we're inside is the same as that shit. Northern and southern hemisphere, left and right, brain. Left and right magic. Left, turn the screw right, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. We can fuck you up with all that shit. Dora, the Explorer. But, let me just read something. This is about one of the salts. It says, and it's about calcium fluoride. Deficiency in calcium fluoride causes one to be forgetful. The threads or filaments of thought are not elastic. Calimere builds or fashions these threads, but calcium fluoride must be blended into them to make them elastic and capable of expanding and contracting. This is a true statement and correct as well. Get out your Gray's Anatomy and read about the webs in your brain, scientifically termed the arachnoid spider membrane, interposed between the pia mater and the dura mater of the brain and cord. So when you don't know what that is, when you don't know what to eat and do that, and you replace that right there with what you have out there, it makes the brain heavy and it cuts certain blood vessels, so it makes you weaker. And then you combine all this garbage, and then that's who you are. Your fiber and everything is destroyed. It's not good. So, but I was just wanting to read. The average weight of the brain of an adult is 3 pounds 8 ounces. The average female 2 pounds 4 ounces. The convolutions of a woman's brain and tissues are finer and more delicate in fiber and mechanism, which evidently amounts for the intuition of women. It would appear that the difference in the convolutions and fineness of tissue and brain matter is responsible for the degrees of consciousness called reason and intuition. The nerves are all connected with the brain directly or by the spinal marrow, but nerves receive their sustenance from the blood and their motive power from the solar plexus. The nerves, together with the branches and minute ramifications, probably exceed 10 million in number, forming a bodyguard outnumbering the mightiest army ever marshaled. Okay, so but when you talk to these goy, and you're like, we got to get what's out there into us to build that. Man, I got to go to the hospital. See, it's an AI medical medicine family. It's not a real fucking human. Listen, it doesn't matter. It's crazy. They think money's the only fucking thing that makes somebody right. It is fucking crazy. Look, there's a pastor going through his humiliation ritual here in Chattanooga. Just Google, you'll find it probably. Yeah, because it has to do with Saturn. And now all control. All these cities are nothing but just indoctrination, Ahrimanic centers. And but he's going through his ritual here. And but I'm like, hey, we're sitting over here. We're not, we're actually teaching you, look, your semen is electric. It glows in the black light. So that means you're sort of likened to one of them electric eel or lightning bugs. So wouldn't you want to be like that shit? And if the more we deplete, the more we get further from it. And then the more you deplete semen, the more it strains. It takes this potassium phosphate, this brain fluid. So that's why sex is pushed so much. And it's like a bolt of lightning to the brain, taking that fluid out. And then it takes longer to replace it and to build it back up. But when you don't know what the fuck you're made of, you never, ever build it back up. And then eventually, do you have erectile dysfunction? We're not going to tell you that we designed it to make your dick slip. But guess what? In about 10, 15 years after y'all get consuming all this and this, we're going to have medicine for you. That's right. And we're going to have porno everywhere to make you go jerking all kinds of shit left and right. Hell yeah. Because we're shadow Saturnian fallen fucking spirit demons who think we're just so fucking cool doing what we're doing to this fucking world. It's what's happening. Isn't that crazy though, how like some of these, they're watching this. They have generals. They're set up. The same way this is set up right here, the same way this is fixed is the same way they're fucking fixed here in physical form. They're giving a set of bullshit the same way the goy's giving a set of bullshit. They're giving a without hesitation fucking mindset. So what that means is they have to show huge humility. So if like some of them know about me, and if I start fucking pressing them, then they have to literally control that Luciferic spirit in them. Ahriman's the dummy one. He's the one that lures you through the toys and the dolls and all that. And then the fucking Luciferic false prophets go, it's okay. It's okay to build character and will around them toys out there. Because I'm a Luciferian thinks he is. Fucking spirit. And then they're promised this status on other. No, let me tell you something. They ain't watching this because they can't. But some of them can. And I can tell you this, they already know this too. Them false prophets are going to be right there with the goy in the elemental sphere. Their fucking whole brain is addicted to that congregation. You see what I mean? They'll be on the other side. You will if you're watching this, running around them fucking cons of an aggregate, trying to get them all going, but you'll be punished too. Listen, it doesn't matter if you're against the goy or for the goy. Doesn't matter. Y'all all have the same brains. You all have the same fucking brains. In that movie, The Witch Hunter, when Frodo goes, the world sure has changed. And he goes, only on the surface. See, movies, black magic, Hollywood, wood of the holly tree, comes from the Druidics, Celtics, whatever you want to call it, and other shit. It's fucking black magic, channeling, sorcery. Tell a vision of a tail going in there and charging the brain. It's not hard. It's what they are. And it's crazy because now they literally have overpopulated it so much, but they voted a couple of years ago, the ones at the top. It was going to come down. Putting in some of these dominoes and stuff, I've seen it across the southeast. You see, it's like, damn. I mean, some of these fucking exits, even these public stores, you go in one of them, these people are like, man, I'm telling you, last year, none of this was around here. And it's like, no shit. They got to fill it up. In that song, he says, the bigger the river, the bigger the drought. My name is human. So what that means is all these little dumb AI I depend on brands and not myself because that's how they're creating them, though, when they shut that motherfucker down. You watch that Ahrimanic demon come out in every fucking one of them. And you watch them. They'll eat each other eventually. And they will. Or they'll just lay there and just die. That's the whole thing behind, oh shit, The Walking Dead. I got to get into some numbers now. I've had to make some hard decisions. Actually, Matt hadn't. Something else has. But I can tell you this. Learn gematria. Learn time and date. You got to learn like looking at dates. Like from date to date. Because these numbers that they have rituals have to do with this. You know, like their sacrifices and stuff. It blows my mind. Not the physical mat, but it doesn't matter. The way you sell a community is these churches are literally ran by Satan fucking demons. And like when COVID hit, they'll kill somebody in that congregation, poison them, and then get up there and go. And then the motherfuckers at the structure at the hospital, they're all one little clique. They're one little fucking harmonic killing crew. And then they get out there and go, did you see that? We better wear a mask. You better get a shot. Matt, I'm telling you, he died in the congregation. They've been there forever. Such a pillar of the community, I'm sure. Did they get a good memorial and shit so we can keep talking about it? You know, we need to do the right thing. See, that's black magic. These are false fucking magi. Do you know what real black magic magicians were called? Magistrates. Yeah, magus is right there. It's right fucking there. Listen, I could go for another fucking 300 hours right now. The courts are slave ships. The hospitals are slave ships. That's all it is. They're fucking warehouses. That's where they keep the goods. And then there should be, a million black and white millionaires right now. That has to do with thrift stores and shit. Or not thrift stores, that too, but like tool stores or whatever. Why is it just one? You go to one town, it's the same brands. Let's go to another town, same brands. Why we need to fucking go anywhere then? It's not original. It's like everywhere is AI. We don't need it. It's not real. That is, man. Come on. You're in a demon world. I'll follow this up shortly. Leave a good comment on something else that you might want me to talk about that sparked something in this video, because it's realer than what you can think. That fluid up there is the same in your brain. And when you replace all that shit, then you're not real. That right there is that. That's programming these children. Siri is wax. It has to do, like, if you study the beehive, which, the wax, go get a dollar bill, it's got little webs on it. Well, we don't know about the webs in our brain, but we know about the webs on them bills of money. Gotta go spend it. I love you.